here for Hype. I'm very excited to see how this goes. You know, maybe he can get a run going himself. And the 4 gold cards started off not too bad. You talked about how many games he's played with this Miracle Rogue. You know, thousands of games, you would say. So, you're definitely going to be extremely experienced with it. And his deck's going to be looking pretty sweet with all those gold cards.
You notice there's a gold portrait as well.
Yeah.
So a testament, again, to how much he's played this Rogue deck and how experienced he is. He's got to feel comfortable coming into this matchup. But no, not a shabby hand here. Ooh, golden coin, by the way.
Oh yeah, he actually has all 30 cards as gold, man. That's pretty sick.
Not a shabby draw here from Gnimsh. He's got the kind of draw that you need in order to be able to beat Miracle Rogue, which is early pressure into follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to tracking up that Croclisk on turn 1, so you know, a nice little turnout there for him. Now, I mean, there are obviously a number of options you can do here. Do you think you're just going to want to wait though, sit back a little bit? Do you think you actually dagger up, Deadly Poison, clear this, or do you just kind of wait it out?
I think you can make an argument for using the Deadly Poison, but at the same time, he wants to save this coin. If you take a look at his hand, he's already drawn his Auctioneer. He's got the preparation in his hand, but at the same time, you don't really need your coin if you have a preparation, because the preparation is like a coin. So when he chooses to use this SI7 agent here to deal 2 damage, he's looking forward to next turn. He wants to cycle this Phantom Knives he has.
Oh my god, he gets it.
Oh my god. So Leok is actually probably the best roll that he could make here.
Yeah,
this is Gnimsh doing what he does, but a good foresight, again, from Hyped, and his understanding of these matchups. When he deals that 2 damage, it looks kind of like a waste, but what he's trying to set up for is this Phantom Knives here. He doesn't want to take damage using this Deadly Poison, but now it's kind of coming back to haunt him. Again, this 33% roll on this Animal Companion, making a huge impact, because now it's almost like he's wasted it.
Yeah, and he's going to go prep Phantom Knives, which is pretty kind of expensive there.
It's a shabby play, but I think he's got to do it. But now at this point, he's looking extremely good. The second preparation's made him a lot more comfortable. The fact that he's got Azure Drake in his hand, if he doesn't need to play Auctioneer on 5, he can develop the Azure Drake instead, which is still a pretty big threat to this deck. But now you're looking at Gnimsh. The more important part is that he prevents this Houndmaster from getting the value from it. So he's got to develop this because, again, he just needs pressure on the board. Both of these players, I think, so far, playing 100%.
For sure. And I mean, it is obviously scary taking all this damage, but doesn't really have any other way to deal with it. Do you feel like you just have to clear that with your dagger? I mean, you have the Deadly Poison on. Do you just accept that 4 damage and take it, or do you try to go face? I mean, it looks like he's definitely going to clear it.
Yeah, I think you got to clear it.
You're just going to clear it, dagger up, and then turn. There's nothing really else you can do.
Right.
Now, I mean, sitting here looking at this hand, you talked about the starting hand was really what he was looking for, developing the early damage with the River Croclisk. Now, is he just really trying to get, the high main out right now? Is that what you really ideally want? Is just as fast as you possibly can, just start to build up that board and just kind of go crazy?
Well, again, high main's sort of one of those cards that is kind of tough in this matchup because if you get sapped, it puts you really far behind. So, but this is where the deck building comes in and how advantageous Rogue is in this matchup. He has to let this 2-2 live, which he's not thrilled about, but he gets a 4-4 out of it. So you're going to see Hunter's Mark here almost 100% of the time, I think.
He's just going to unleash Hunters.
Right.
And, I mean, definitely a nice little move, and it's going to be able to buff up the Hyena. And honestly, Rogue is not a class that floods the deck with the board with minions. So it's not like you're going to get some crazy unleash with 4 or 5 things out there.
I think this is a good use of it. He's got to clear this. He got to clear this Azure Drake. It's going to start getting in too much damage. But more importantly, he has to keep dealing damage as well. So this is one of the reasons why Rogue ends up being so good in this matchup, is because typically you can just clear all these minions without letting them get this value. But Gnimsh has managed to land a 4-3 now. Hype's sitting at 16. This is a tough game to win now, I think, even despite how strong his hand is.
Yeah, and I mean, he's sitting at 30 HP. He hasn't dealt 1 point of damage yet.
Oh, but here's Gadget Zane Auctioneer, and he's about to do what Gadget Zane Auctioneer does. Spam those Gadget Zane Auctioneer faces in that chat, because you're going to see some mega card draw here. If Gnimsh cannot answer this Auctioneer efficiently, it's a nightmare for him. It's very thankful that he has this owl in this position. Believe it or not, actually, this flare is pretty critical in this matchup as well, because if Conceal comes into being a factor, he can unstealth that minion with that flare. So this isn't a very exciting turn as far as Gnimsh is concerned, because this owl only deals with part of the threat that Gadget Zane Auctioneer possesses, which is the card draw effect. But Hype's got a ton of cards in his hand, and he's still got a 4-4 body on the board, so now he's able to start applying pressure as well. So this is where the game really starts to get scary if you're in Gnimsh's spot. And Hyped, you notice he's got this Earthring Farseer. This is one of those cards that's super critical in this matchup as well. It's going to help stem his damage, and at the same time, it's going to put pressure onto Gnimsh. This is the kind of position you got to be in to win the game. And he recognizes the fact that he's comfortable at 14 life because Gnimsh doesn't have a lot of cards in his hand. So
There is the Leroy Unleash here now, though. So I mean, do you think Do you think you just regular unleash? Do you try to just Leroy unleash and try to get just a bunch of face damage in and try to race? I mean, what are your options here, really?
Well, you're looking at 12 damage between Leroy and unleash right now.
Yeah.
So if he just 12s his opponent's face and his opponent doesn't have anything, it's a pretty tough spot to be in. But at the same time, Gnimsh is at 26 life, but he's staring down 11 damage.
Yeah.
So Hype's only got to put together 15 damage here, which is a Leroy, a Shadow Step, and a Burn Spell.
Yep.
Or a Deadly Poison.
Yeah, and we know he already has the other Abyss in his hand. He has the Leroy in his hand. This is not stuff that he knows, obviously. He could flare first and just kind of see what happens with the flare. I mean, do you think you may as well flare at this point? I mean, you can, if you're gonna Leroy unleash, you have the extra mana anyway, so why not see what you draw? And he is gonna go for that. But I just feel it's like, sitting back here isn't really an option either. You can do Buzzard unleash.
Yep.
And I think,
I actually, this Kodo I think is really good here.
Okay.
Because this does need to be dealt with. But it doesn't need to be dealt with 100% from Hype's position. Because he's sitting at 12 life, so he may just try to look for a 2-turn lethal here, but that could end up being a colossal error because you're looking at Unleash and Leroy in Gnimsh's hand. So a potential lethal next turn, if he doesn't deal with this board position, I imagine he's going to try to, but I think this is one of Gnimsh's best plays to try to win this game, is if this Kodo gets ignored, which it's pretty much impossible for it to, I think, at this point, given that there's a sap in his hand as well as like a Eviscerate, Backstab, and this Earthen Ring Farseer coming out. So I think in this spot, Hype has a tremendous advantage if he can play his cards perfectly here. And again, 10 points of damage on the board. Gnimsh has got to deal with his cards as well, otherwise he's just dead in 2 turns.
Yeah, and I mean, he's hovering over that backstab, so maybe just considering dealing with it with spells and not going to trade a minion into it. Looks like that is going to be what he does. He goes for the backstab Abyss to clear out that Kodo. And now, yeah, he's sitting there. He can Earthen Ring Farseer, he can heal up, and he's sitting in a pretty solid position on the flare, having been used. We talked about that for Conceal. Can't do anything about this now.
Right, now he's like, this is as far as Gnimsh is concerned, he's, wow.
Oh, wow. How much
4,
damage
5,
does he
6,
have
7.
now?
Oh my gosh, he doesn't have 10 mana because Unleash costs 3 mana now instead of 2. So otherwise, this would be looking at lethal, but he doesn't have it right now. So 6 plus 5, you're looking at 11, 12, you're looking at 13 points of damage only.
God,
he's 2 damage short. This Earthen Ring Farseer, a massive impression on this game.
Yeah.
3 extra health being the difference between winning and losing this game right now, as well as this 1 extra mana.
Now, do you think looking back, he should have just gone for the Leroy Unleashed last turn, instead of that Kodo, got the damage in? Because had he done that, he would have been able to bring him to lethal with the kill command
If
this
Gnimsh
turn.
had relied on his luck, he would have been able to pull out this game.
He should have prayed on the RNG,
and instead, he's got the luck of a god, but he's got the heart of a man. So, so the fear was in him at this point. Yeah. But he's looking at that now, and he goes, "I knew I should have done it. Yeah. I always get lucky. I knew better than this." And now he's paying for it. And wow, but still a big credit to both these players. I think it's hard to play this Leroy Unleash combo and just rely on luck to win the game. Yeah. Because is that your best play?
I don't know.
Frankly, I don't think it is, because I don't think if his opponent doesn't have Earthen Ring Farseer, which I think he actually kind of discounted his opponent having, because he got to this spot, I don't mind Gnimsh's read here. I actually think it's pretty good. It just happens to be that the Conceal ends up being a large difference maker in this game, as well as this 1 mana.
Yeah.
So pretty unfortunate from his side of the board, but again, Hyped. He's got a perfect build for this deck. He played this game 100%, I think, holding back his Earthen Ring Farseer, where I think a lot of people would have normally played it. And this Van Cleef, the extra damage on this, really being impactful.
Yep, definitely. And this is going to do it. Bring him down to 2 HP. Really finish him off. Oh, he's going to put him at 1. Okay, finish him off the
reason he finishes the Blade Flare here, by the way, is because he doesn't want to reveal Leroy, because it could be a Malagos Road. There's still that very small possibility that's what it is. So when he doesn't reveal Leroy, that's what the impression he's trying to leave open.
Definitely makes a lot of sense there then. And plus, who doesn't want to clear all the minions when